So this week's Parshas Emor, we have the mitzvahs and the special laws that pertain to Kahanim, who they're allowed to marry, what they're allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do. And included within that we have also special mitzvahs for not just any Kohen, but the Kohen Gadol. Now one of the particular mitzvahs of the Kohen Gadol is that the Pasuk says that even when there's a loss, God forbid, of a close relative, the Kohen Gadol is not allowed to become contaminated during the Levai and so on. And the Pasuk says about the Kohen Gadol, Al Yetzei Mi HaMikdash, that he's not allowed to leave the Beis HaMikdash. And so the commentaries deal with this in terms of figuring out what that means practically. Does he not have a home? He never goes home at night. He has a wife and children. He never leaves the Beis HaMikdash. What does that mean? So the Pasuk can deal with that, the Rishonim, in terms of halacha. But the Baal Shem Tov said the following idea. He said that we know that the Kahanim are a family, and you have a Kohen Gadol who's the most chashuv, chosen person of that family. But the Baal Shem Tov said on a more spiritual, allegorical level, every single yid has a side of him of a Kohen. And a Kohen doesn't just mean that particular family, that particular person. A Kohen means a certain level of attachment to the Rebbeinu Shalom, a certain level of avodas Hashem. And the Baal Shem Tov said it's within our ability, and we're charged with this, to become Kahanim Gedolim, to become exceedingly great people. And said the Baal Shem Tov, one of the conditions of being a Kohen Gadol, of being a real tzaddik, an Oved Hashem, is Umin HaMikdash Lo Yetzei, not to leave the Beis HaMikdash. What does that mean? So Baal Shem Tov said, does it mean never to leave the shul, never to leave Beis Medrash, never to work, to have a family? We have to have a family, we have to raise children and so on. So what does it mean, Umin HaMikdash Lo Yetzei, not to leave the Beis HaMikdash? So Baal Shem Tov taught the following idea, and it's a very great principle in his teachings in general, which is that a person is ultimately defined based on your mind and based on where you want to be. And Baal Shem Tov said, if you're in a particular place, but your mind is elsewhere, then although you're physically in that particular place, that's not really where you are. Where you are is where your mind is. So said the Baal Shem Tov, Mikdash Lo Yetzei, not to leave the Beis HaMikdash, means that although, of course, we have to find ourselves outside of the Mikdash Ma'at, of the places of holiness that we otherwise find ourselves. And we have no choice, not only because of circumstances in life does a person have to go out, but the Torah itself, Hashem Yisbarach himself demands of us to go out, to raise families and so on, and to do things for the tzibur. But nevertheless, said the Baal Shem Tov, but there has to be a part of you that's still attached, that still wants to be in that place of Kedusha. Wherever that place of Kedusha for you might be, like a shul, a Beis Medrash, Eretz Yisrael, yeshiva, whatever the case may be, but there's a part of you that has to want to be there. And as long as there's a part of you that wants to be there, it means a part of you is there. And then you're able to be the Kohen Gadol to fulfill that mitzvah of Min HaMikdash Lo Yetzei, of not leaving the Beis HaMikdash. And Baal Shem Tov said, therefore, even on a practical level, when a person finds themselves at work and so on in places that are outside of that physical place of the Mikdash, it's important to every once in a while concretize and sort of give a material vessel for that part of you that's not there. And so Baal Shem Tov said, for example, even in work, when a person has a few moments and they open up a Tehillim and they say a Kapitel Tehillim, or they open up a Chumash and read a Pasuk in Chumash, it's not just at that moment now you're connecting to the Beis HaMikdash, you're connecting now to a place of holiness. You're giving some material expression to that part of you that the entire time was in the Beis HaMikdash. And that strengthens and fortifies that part of you that is a Kohen Gadol. And by doing so, by always allowing ourselves to have a part of us wanting to be in holy places and wanting to be holy people, that actually defines us as people like that. So Hashem should help. We should come to Shabbos with that quality of entering into the Beis HaMikdash of Shabbos and have that mindset in this week's parsha of Min HaMikdash Lo Yetzei, of not leaving the Beis HaMikdash. Hashem should help each and every one of us. We should come to Shabbos, Menuchas Nefesh and Menuchas Guf, and both individually and collectively see the redemption of our people. V'yas Kol Tzedek, Meher V'Meinu Amen.